A happy new year to you listeners. Wow, I've got goosebumps just by saying that. Hey, welcome to 2025. You know what? Most people set their New Year resolutions. And we are already underway in the new year, and people have already given up on their New Year resolutions. So you know what, leaders? Let's get serious. Let's make 2025 a massive year. And it's time to set the stage for success and thrive in 2025. Let's discuss.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos.
Welcome to the Ask Denis episode. This is a freestyle episode where I'm asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts and experiences and insights from working with many leaders around the globe. Well, a happy new year to you listeners, and welcome to 2025. As I said early on in my introduction, most people have already set their New Year resolutions. But you know what? They've already given up on them. And it's like the gyms are full of people. And because people are going to get in there and they're going to get fit. But give it time, in a couple of weeks' time, those gyms will start to empty out. So the big thing here is for you and I to get serious. It's time for us to make 2025 a massive year. It's time for us to set the stage for success so that we can thrive in 2025. And as we step into a brand new year, we're given this gift of possibilities, a chance to reset, refocus, and reignite our goals, our ambitions. You know what? It's time for us to turn that leaf or turn that new page. You know what? 2025 is not just another year. It's your opportunity to lead with purpose and make a difference, make an impact. And we talked about in the last episode about finishing last year strong. Well, now we need to start looking at how we can start strong. And starting strong isn't about wishful thinking, pie in the sky or blue sky thinking too much. It's about intentional planning, decisive action, and that unwavering commitment to growing, to learning, and to moving forward. So here's how you can kick off 2025 and thrive in the year ahead of us. The first thing I always say to leaders is to reflect on the past year. And it's not to get stuck in the past, but it's for us to actually reflect. Because you see, before we can plan ahead, we do need to take a moment to look back. Reflection isn't just about replaying the highlights and it's about digging deep. It's about understanding what drove you forward, but also what held you back. So there's some things for you to think about. What success am I most proud of? In other words, what went well? Where did I stumble? And what can I learn from those moments? Because you see, I think it's always about where we can learn from things. If we make mistakes or we stumble or it doesn't go well, we can learn from it. We can turn it into a learning opportunity. Which habits, which behaviors or strategies served me well? Well, actually it was useful. And then also, what are those areas that need to change? Once you get clarity and lessons from doing this reflection, that really starts to set the foundation, the groundwork for progress and future success. The next thing I would think is about defining your vision. Because you see, leadership begins with vision. It begins with the end in mind. In fact, what you might want to do here is to picture yourself at the end of 2025. What does success look like? And what does it feel like for you? See, most people think about what does it look like, but I think the feeling piece, that emotional, that sort of tangible feel like for you is very important. I actually talk a lot about finishing your year before you start the year. It's about that future pacing, thinking about things is about the vision. A powerful vision isn't just about your goals. It's about how you're going to impact the world around you. There's some things for you to consider when you start thinking about how you'll impact the world around you is what legacy do I want to leave this year? Because you see, you are building a legacy. It's about your legacy, but it's also the legacy for the future as well, the leaders for tomorrow. But it's about you and your legacy. How do I want to grow personally and professionally? And what kind of relationships and connections will I focus on? Write your vision down and keep working on it. Now, I talk to a lot of leaders about going to a stationery store and buying what I call a sketchbook. Now, some people may use online apps and they can do mind mapping or they can do whiteboarding and so forth digitally. But I would actually say to you, get a sketch pad. It's those ones whereby they're either A4 or A3 size, depending on where you are in the world. It could be illegal, but it's a sketch pad that you can take where people do pencil sketching or chalk sketching. But you can do mind maps, you can write lists, you can do words, numbers, pictures, whatever's right for you to brainstorm. I want you to take that. And the reason I give you the pad is because it's in the book and you won't lose the pieces of paper. But if it's A4, you can put it into your backpack and go off somewhere. And even the A3 size, put it under your arm and go somewhere. Go to a cafe, go to a beach, go somewhere where you can think. But you know what? You need to keep working on it. Keep brainstorming, keep thinking, and keep going to more and more pages. And it just starts to get clearer and clearer for you. But you know what? This vision, let that be your compass. The vision is going to be helping you throughout the whole year. And it'll sort of help you stay focused on what you need to focus on. So that's a very important thing, is to define your vision and be very clear on it. Set meaningful goals is another area. Because you see, goals without meaning, they're just tasks. In fact, if you know how to get to the goal easily, then it's not a goal, it's a task. These goals need to be quite scary. They need to be big, and they are going to challenge you and stretch you to grow. To lead with intention, though, as I said earlier on about leading with intention, your goals should align with your vision. In fact, they also should align with your values. And if you don't know what your values are, maybe that's something you need to work on too. And how many values? 3 to 5. You don't need more. You just keep it simple. Now, break the goals into smaller, actionable steps. For example, if your vision is to enhance your leadership skills, right? Your steps might include joining a leadership program. So you come and talk to me if you wanted to do that, because I've got some programs for you to join. It could be scheduling regular feedback sessions. It could be you committing to your daily self-reflection. It could be you engaging a coach, and that's like me. So if you're wanting to talk about that, I'm more than happy to do it. But the key here is that it's about progress. Progress is built step by step. And if you're consistently doing it step by step, then you're actually going to get towards where you're wanting to go. Another area is focus on key areas. Thriving means excelling in every area of your life. It doesn't mean being perfect in all areas of your life, right? Don't get me wrong here. Because you think, see, to be able to excel, we need to grow, we need to develop. But you have to keep moving forward to do it. And it will never be perfect. Because if you're waiting for it to be perfect, then you're never going to move forward. You're always going to stand still. So as you set your goals, focus on some of these key areas. One could be around health and well-being. I would say here is to invest in your energy. Because a leader that's got energy, that's what people want to be around, but it's also something that you're going to move the organization, move yourself and others forward. To invest in your energy, exercise, eat well, but also rest. Take time out, take some breaks. Number 2 is career and growth, as I'm calling it. So stretch yourself. Take on challenges that push your boundaries. In fact, put your hand up to take on initiatives and projects and so forth that may stretch you. Go to new levels. Number 3 is around relationships or networks. Deepen the connections. Be present with those who matter the most. That's one. So that's maybe at home and so forth, or with your teams. But also build your network before you need it, team. Because for some of you, you're leaving it too long or too late. Get out there and build it before you need it. Number 4 is financial stability. Plan wisely. Build a financial strategy that's going to support your goals. Number 5 is around personal development. Leaders keep learning. So stay curious. I love that word, curious. Stay curious and open to new experiences. So there are some areas for you to focus on, some key areas. There may be some others as well that you may want to put in there. Things around spiritual side. There's a whole lot more that you can add in there. Commitment to consistent action is what I want to talk about. It's the small, consistent, steady actions that shape a successful year. So if you can establish routines that will strengthen the year and strengthen your day, that's going to be key. Whether it's like a morning ritual or a morning routine, whether you do some weekly planning sessions, maybe, here's another one, that you actually write down on a daily basis the top 3 things or 5 things that you're grateful for. So it's also like having things of gratitude. So you see, consistency builds momentum. And once you start to build that momentum, that's what it starts to deliver results. Now, let me repeat this. Consistency builds momentum and delivers results. That is powerful. That is something for you to really think about. Here's another area. Embrace flexibility and resilience. Now, there's that word resilience. I'll come to it in a second. Leadership's never about a straight path. It's never a straight journey. Never is and never will be. Challenges are going to come in front of you, and plans may need to be adapted. Resilient isn't about avoiding the challenges. It's about how you respond to them. So the thing here is to check in with yourself regularly. Are your goals still aligned with your vision? Adjust as needed, but here's the key. Keep moving forward. So whatever challenges you come up against, keep moving forward. Here's another area for you to think about, and that is leverage the tools and support. Great leaders know they don't have to go it alone. Use the tools and resources available to you to help you. Here are some examples of those tools. Journal or apps to track progress. And I'm going to highly recommend that you start a journal if you don't already have one, and you take notes on a daily basis. Things to think about, things that are happening on that day, some lessons, some insights, or some scenarios. Take note of it. Now, I've been working with a guy recently, and part of talking about storytelling or talking about bringing examples and experiences and that into conversations, into presentations, it's very important. Now, for him, he's thinking about his future, and he's got a career in front of him that's many, many years ahead, right? It's really quite a strong, long runway for him. But one thing that's very smart for him to do is to start keeping a journal on what he's learning and going back and reflecting on a regular basis. But here's the other thing. When he wants to use storytelling, or he wants to use examples or experiences or war stories sometimes as they call it, by keeping a journal, he's actually capturing in the moment those different stories or scenarios that are actually happening. Because you go down 6 months down the track, a year down the track, you forget what has actually happened. But if you're capturing it, then you're going to be able to refer back to it. Imagine the kind of leader you'll be when you can share stories, real life examples of what's actually happened with people later on, years down the track. But you can only do that if you're capturing it now. So journals, and sometimes online, they've got digital versions as well to help you track progress. Progress towards your goals, but also progress towards what you're learning. A calendar system to structure your time. And if you're a person who's overwhelmed or not very good at time management, things like that, reach out to me, because I have a system, a model in place that is helping many leaders around the world. In fact, it's actually helping them find 6 to 7 hours and freeing up that time for them. It's also helping them to be very clear on where they need to focus on. So reach out to me, because I actually do have that available. Mentors, coaches, or accountability partners to help keep you on track. If there is anything that I can do to help you around these areas, listeners, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on email, dennis@leadingchangepartners.com, or you can send me a message on social media like Facebook Messenger or onto LinkedIn and send me a message there in a private message. The key here is to surround yourself with a network that inspires and supports your growth. It's actually very important to have people around you who are going to be part of that network that do inspire you and do support you so that you can grow to be the leader that you need to be and that you deserve to be. Here's another area. Celebrate your wins. Every step forward deserves recognition. And I have got to say this, leaders need to do this more because you're not doing it enough. And actually, you're not doing it enough for yourself, but also you're not doing it enough for your teams in your organization. Celebrate the wins. Because you see, don't wait till December 2025, the end of this year, where you're going to do a reflection and things like that for you to recognize yourself and celebrate. You've got to do it throughout the time. So celebrate your progress, whether it's big or small, throughout the whole year, right? Keep doing it all the time. Why? Because celebration fuels momentum. And it reminds you why you started doing this or why you're on this track, why you're on this journey towards this goal. Here are some final thoughts for you, listeners. And as a leader, your greatest impact comes when you live and you lead with purpose. 2025 is your year to thrive, to challenge yourself, and make a meaningful difference. Remember, leadership isn't about being perfect, as I said earlier on. It's about progress. It's about your presence. It's about your perseverance. It's about you being consistent. If you can be that deliberate leader, that's what's really key. So let's make this year extraordinary together. Let's lead boldly, let's adapt, and let's thrive in 2025. So here is your call to action. Your call to action, if you haven't already done it, is to set those goals in those different areas that I talked about. Go back, re-listen to this episode again, take more notes, but focus on these areas that you need to work on. If there's anything you need to do, your call to action, if you need support and help, is to reach out to me and let's have a chat. All right, listeners, well, once again, welcome to 2025. Make it a massive year. That's it for this episode. It's always a pleasure being with you. Thanks for joining me on the Leadership is Changing podcast. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.